What's going on, fellow adventurers? Nick here, and welcome back to the Revelry. And welcome back to another exciting episode of D&Detail, the show where I take unpainted miniatures, see them through, and make them come alive through paint. So last time on D&Detail, we painted the young adult red dragon, and I'm going to keep that tradition alive because I got 2 more dragons left. And I was originally going to be painting the blue today, but I want to do some more things with the bases. I want to make more decorative bases, and some of the materials that I need for the blue dragon, the desert, hasn't really come in the mail yet. So we are going to be painting the black dragon today. And I'm a little concerned because what can you do to a black dragon to make it look good, right? You obviously can't wash it in black because it really wouldn't do anything to it. So I have all my paint set up, and we're going to just improvise along the way. And I hope you guys enjoy it, so let's get to painting. And so when I said that I was going to be improvising, I really mean it. I have a lot of paint here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be using all of these, to be completely honest. But I just wanted to cover all my bases and have, a lot of interesting looking paints to work with here. So we're going to start off with Necromancer Cloak. This is going to be our base coat, mixed with some matte black. So it's going to be a mixture of both for the scales. And then I'm going to do Uniform Gray for the wings, for the membrane of the wings in between the spines. And I'm going to use a dry brush of Venom Worm on the wings, the membrane of the wings. And I think part of the scales too, I might have to mix it with some black. And for the actual dragon itself, I'm going to be stepping away from our usual army painter line, and I'm going to be using this Athonian camo shade from Citadel. This is a dark green shade wash, and I think it'll really help with what we're trying to accomplish here. So moving on from that, for the eyes, I'm going to be using a matte white just to get a really bright color coming in. And over that, I'm going to be going to Citadel again and using this Waywatcher green glaze. And this is an ink, not a wash. And what inks do, they're kind of the same, but it's thinner. And this will just change the pigment of that white and make it like a nice neon green color. Shining green, which we want for his eyes. And so for the spines, the teeth and all that, the belly plates, we're going to be using the same combination from the red dragon, which is the desert yellow and skeleton bone. And then obviously in between those, I'm going to be using a strong tone wash, and then coming in with a mixture of both for highlights. And we have some flesh wash for the mouth. And then I'm going to be using some tanned flesh for the mouth and tongue. And again, I'm going to go over it with that flesh wash to make it more, gummy. So yeah, I think we have all we need here. And after, I'm going to be using this anti-shine matte varnish that I just got the other day. I'm very excited to use it. So let's get into painting. And so here we have the young adult black dragon here. Kind of a different shape to it. It's actually, these wings are really close. But I have my wet palette here, I have my water pot and my brushes, so we're ready to go. And so here we're going to take a little bit of that Necromancer Cloak and a little bit of matte black to make a base coat. So I'm going to use, I forgot to shake my paint. Always shake your paint, guys. You want a good mixture here. So I'm going to use about 4 drops of Necromancer Cloak and about 1 or 2 drops of this black, because I want it to be dark. I want it to still be a black dragon, but I don't want it to be complete black on a miniature where you can't really see any detail. So we're going to take our extra large Citadel base brush that I got yesterday, and we're going to give this a nice mixture for our base coat. And so I'm going to start with our base coat here. Just gonna avoid the horns and avoid the belly, and you know the rest. Alright, and so our base coat of black, our matte black and necromancer gray is completed. He's drying right now. Can't see a thing, can you? Oh, black dragons. I don't like you already. Well, so next on the list is going to be our wash, and like I said, I'm going to be using this Athonian camel shade here. It is a dark green wash, and I hope it comes out good. And so, now that the base coat has dried, I'm going to be going in with this Athonian camo shade, and hopefully it does something. This is the wash. It's a dark green wash. I'm going to be very sparing with this because obviously it's not a green dragon, it's a black dragon, so I just thought that it would give it some nice contrast between the black and everything else. And so that wash is going to take a long time to dry, and so I'm going to start working on the base again. And so far I've base coated it, and I think I'm going to go in with some Sterling Battle Mire and get some mud on this swampy area. So you can see this paint, this texture, is kind of like well, kind of looks like poop, really. It's very muddy. It's supposed to give off, you know, muddy texture looks, wet earth, and I think it's going to be perfect for what we need in this swamp. So the wash step is completed, and it is drying right now. So next step we have is we're going to be coming in with uniform gray and a necromancer cloak mixture for the wing membrane. That is up next. Wow, and so this wash actually gave the effect that I wanted, a dark green, but not too dark. It almost makes it look like when you look at it in the sun, the scales are actually a dark black green. So that's exactly what I wanted here. And so now the wash is dried along the wings, and that is good because now we can go along with our necromancer cloak and uniform gray mixture that we're going to make for the membrane of these wings. And so we're going to take our 3 brush, get it wet here, and make this mixture and then load our brush with it. Alright, let's get started here on these wings. I'm just going to stipple where need be. Again, stippling is when there are small divots in the mold where your paintbrush can't really get with a sideways stroke or a down stroke. So what you do is you just poke at that hole and paint will normally fill it up. And so we finished these wings here. See the contrast between the membrane and the actual spines themselves. Now I'm going to do a wash on the wings and the frill with that same shade, the Athonian camo shade here. And so the wash is drying now. Get that green shading on the wings and on this neck frill here. And then we're gonna go ahead with the dry brush. And while that's drying, I went ahead and I added some steppe grass and some Highland tufts from Army Painter, some terrain stuff. I just want to make these bases a little more pretty. I also added Sterling Battlemire, sorry, and added a gloss wash to it to make it shiny like it's wet. And we're gonna go ahead and dry brush the stones on this. Again, Necromancer Gray. I've been using this a lot, and I feel like we're gonna use it throughout the whole mini. And this is the effect so far. It's pretty good so far, and we'll get back to it. Now I'm going to apply some of this summer undergrowth to the base here. This is what this stuff looks like. It's more like weeds and moss. We are going to be dry brushing some of this Necromancer cloak again with my Venom Worm. And this is a dark army green with a bit of brown in it. And so now that I've finished with the dry brush, I'm going to, just like I did with the red dragon, I'm going to take some inspiration from the monster manual. And in the monster manual, these guys have green stripes, believe it or not. So we're gonna go ahead and give them some green stripes. I went and I mixed Venom Worm with, again, the Necromancer cloak here to make a dark olive green. We're just gonna go and hopefully not mess this up. So something like this. Can't really make it out through the camera, but give it some green stripes here. And this is what the stripes look like. They're very light, but they're there, and it makes this dragon have a little more character here. It goes all the way up the wing here. This wing spine, wing bone, and on the other side as well. Now that that's finished, I can finally get onto the bone material of this dragon. We're gonna take some desert yellow and start painting these bellies. So we have finished the belly plates in the desert yellow color. I had to apply 2 coats because I base coated it in black, and I mean the paint isn't very good at coverage anyway, so I had to go with 2, but it looks good now. And now we are going to take our soft tone wash and give it a wash. So this is what the base is looking like at the moment. It is the work in progress. And so now we're going to take some jungle green here, and I'm going to put it in all of the crevices here on the base, just to make it seem like there's acid all around this dragon. It stays in the acid that it kills its enemies with, right? So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And I'm going a bit heavy with this because I want it to be like a watery texture, or give it the effect that it is some viscous liquid crawling through these cracks. And here in some spots where the green meets the earth tone or the earth texture here, I'm going to drip it on to the edges as it's like leaking out, and I'm going to use another effect to make it look like it's been mixed with earth. I used a gloss over that earth texture to make it seem like it's wet swampland, and it's giving that sheen, the shine that it is soaked with water. And so I went in with some of this Nurgle's Rot here, and you can see, to make it seem like the acid has mixed with the earth and it's this putrid, dangerous liquid, right? And so also, while the wash on the dragon's belly is drying, I'm going to use some of this tanned flesh here for the mouth and the tongue. And then after that, we'll go along with the skeleton bone for the highlights and also the teeth and the claws and the horn. So I put the tanned flesh in the mouth there, and I'm going to go ahead and, while the belly is drying still, it's still a little wet, I'm going to go in with flesh wash. And this is more of a red auburn tone than the strong tone, which is just brown. This one is red. And so this will be for the mouth and the tongue. So I went ahead and did the mouth and went over with some flesh tone on there to give it some nice guttural shading. Now it's time for highlights on the belly plates. And we're going to go in with desert yellow and skeleton bone mixture. Here is the belly detail we're looking for here. Alright, now we're reaching the finish line again. I'm going to take my 2/0 brush and we're going to do all of the spines and the claws. Just going through with that same highlight mixture for the belly plates, and I'm using that for these claws. While this paint is drying, I'm going to go ahead and dot the eyes. I'm going to be using matte white for this. And then after that, we're going to be going in with some X-Wraith Flame and ink to make it like a neon glowing green. So now that all the bone pieces are done drying, we're going to go in with some strong tone again and give this bad boy a wash. And we're just going to do the pieces where the bone meets the rest of the dragon. So I just washed all the bone pieces and gave that green ink on the eyes. And at the end of it all, here is our young adult black dragon. And that was the young adult black dragon. In my opinion, it came out a lot better than I had expected, despite my concerns. But I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down below. Is there anything that you would like to see me paint or any constructive feedback. It's always welcome. But if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you so much. Consider dropping a subscribe for us. But that's all I have for you guys today. And as always, see you in the next one. Cheers.
Oh, come on, you've had enough.